Welcome and good evening. Welcome to this evening's edition of Am Abel Foundation's Medicine Makers, where if your destination is a career in medicine, we can show you how to get there. Today, I'm very excited to have a show that is going to focus on one of our mentees in the program here, who will introduce himself shortly. And we also have a pair of our proud parents who are going to be joining us on the show today. So this is a very exciting edition. Before we get started, would like to remind you to join us on Facebook, on I Am Abel Facebook. You can join us on Twitter, on Instagram. You can also watch us and stream us live on CAN TV 21 or Cable Access Network, channel 99. You can also stream us live on cantv.org/hotline, and this is live. We also have a call-in number, which is on the bottom of the screen, 312-738-1060. These are all ways you can join us this evening as we get onto the show. And we remind you, as always, to join our website and visit our website at www.iamabel, which is abel.org, to hear about all our fantastic programming. So with all that done, let's get onto this show. Our guest today is one of our mentees, Kamari, and he will introduce himself and tell us a little bit about who he is, where you are in school, and how you got involved with Am Abel. So welcome, Kamari.
Hi, my name is Kamari. I'm a senior at Gary Coleman College Prep. My mentor is Iko Kosa, and I got involved with the program in 2018. The school came around the year before, and they were like, we have a medical mentoring program. I'm like, okay, I want to go into the medical field or like start off as an EMT or something. And then I'm like, okay, I'm not really into it yet. And then the next year the teacher came around and I'm like, okay, this must be a sign. He came around twice, I'm going to do it. And I turned the application in the day before the deadline and got in. And it's been good ever since.
Awesome. So you brought up a point about the deadline. We'll talk a little bit about that because March 23, which is this Saturday, is the deadline for this next year's class of students. So you can get on the website and look through the application and submit. But you brought up a good point because our mentees come to us from a variety of ways. Some of them through their parents. We'll get to talk to a pair of parents. Some of them through friends, word of mouth. But also we're reaching out to schools to identify students who are really motivated, hardworking students, smart students who want to think about a career in medicine. And I'm glad your teacher came back the second year because we wouldn't have had the pleasure of having you in the program. So I'm glad your teacher looked out. So for the teachers and educators out there, it's really important that when you see talent and you see kids who are motivated and interested, that you nurture that and don't give up. So I'm glad you're in the program and you joined in 2018. So tell us a little bit about what does it mean to be a mentee? We've talked about this, the mentee mentor. What does that mean to you? What has it meant to you, being a mentee in the program?
It means giving up some time to fund my future and doing what I have to do on the back end to become a doctor later on, and being there with my mentor when he have time to be with me, and just like building a relationship with him that's going to last all the way until I make it.
Wow. That was deep. You said giving up time to do stuff. So that's an investment in your future, saying that this path is long and sometimes it's a little difficult, but that knowing that there's a team of people that can help you through that, and that yes, you have to give up your Saturday mornings. I saw you last Saturday doing your thing, and so that's really important out there. That's what it means to you, that commitment on your part. So that's great. So you kind of talked about your mentor. Tell us a little bit about your mentor.
He's a cardiologist that specializes in heart failure.
Wow.
Wherever he can fit me in his schedule, we make it happen. We go places. We go to the clinic, and I work with him there the last Friday of every month, and just see how everything works. So I'm kind of getting a cardiologist kind of mindset.
Wow. Where does your mentor practice?
At Northwestern.
Wow, very prestigious organization,
Yes.
institution. So that's great. So when I say tell us about your mentor, my next question was what kind of exposures and experiences have you had? So you've been able to shadow and go to clinic with your mentor. Any other things that you've been exposed to as part of the program?
I would say another thing, he takes me out and just like tell me what I need to do to become a doctor, like academically.
Wow.
It was like academic advising at the same time. So that was a part of the program that he has taken on that role to do for me.
That's great. So the mentoring relationship is not just while you're with patients or in the clinic. A lot of it is advising and just talking to you as a young man and looking at you as his younger self. Kind of looking at, creating that path. That is great. That is awesome. So can you tell me some of the things with your mentor that you do, but you also do other things in the program as a mentee in the program, right? Are there other things that you are part of as being in the program?
I try to get out to as many of the volunteer events as possible. Like last year, a few months after being into the program, I went to the health fair with Rush, and I was like doing people's height and weight and calculating BMIs to just
just throw a BMI.
Be out there, so.
Right. That's good, right? So then when you're in the clinic, some of those numbers start to make sense when your cardiologist is talking about the weight and what's your EKGs and what's your salt intake and all that stuff. And I did get to see you this last Saturday in action doing your mock interview and seeing you come in prepared with your code and ready to go and doing a full history after a whole course on taking that. And I'm sure being with your mentor helped that process. Would you say you were prepared for that process?
Yes, I had some questions about like the heart. Once the patient told me some answers to some of my questions, and I'm like, okay, maybe this could link to heart failure. So let me ask these questions.
Wow.
So it really helps.
Good. So obviously you're exposed to patients, you're exposed to your mentor. What would you say is kind of been because this is somebody you met through the program, right? You were matched through the program. What would you say is kind of one of the best things about this relationship with this physician who you're exposed to now?
Well, I would say the way that he makes time for me to just go out and treat me as not just somebody that he have to like take care of. It's like, okay, we're gonna go out to the Bulls game, or we're gonna go out to dinner.
Now your mentor just set the bar really high for other mentors in the program. That's great. So that is awesome. That's a relationship that allows you to ask questions that you may not if you didn't feel comfortable. And, the program does try to match people based on interest and affinity. The last part, because we're trying to bring on the parents, is what are some of the ways that we kind of think of the relationship as the mentors doing stuff for the mentee? What are some of the ways that you think that, or you have, kind of shown your appreciation or thanked your mentor for what he's clearly doing with you?
I make sure I get to him on time. When I get there, it's like, okay, so what do we need to do? And if something comes up, I let him know ahead of time, or if I want to plan an extra day, it's like I'm telling him in advance, so it's not an inconvenience.
So that is something that Dr. Conway really does try to instill in the students, that, being appreciative and valuing people's time. So you brought that up right off the bat, right? Being on time, right? Being on time, and if you can't be, making sure you give a head notice. And those are life skills that will serve you in medical school, that will serve you in life, respecting people's time and really letting them know you appreciate them. I do know your mentor, and I know that he thinks that you're doing a great job. It's a great match, and we really are glad that we have students who have come through. So would you recommend this program to others, and what would you say to a student who, it's Tuesday and they're trying to get this in by Saturday? You got it in the day before, but what would you say, and how would you encourage students from your school, from other places? Talk to them.
I would say most definitely any day that the program is one to join. If you want to be a healthcare hero and just be out in the medical field doing what's best for the people that look like you, I would say this is the program, because it's like a community. Everybody cares for one another. Nobody is making themselves seem higher than anyone. It's like everybody cares, and it's a tight-knit community.
Okay, couldn't have said it better. Kamari, it was a pleasure having you. And for those of you who are watching from home, I mean, wouldn't you like to be on a program like this? I'm just going to show you a little bit about how to apply for the program. So this is our website, www.iamabel.org. abel.org. And once you see that on the website, you can see a list of our programs. You see a list of our programs, the medical mentoring program, the student affiliate program, a lot of programming we have, including academic advising, which Kamari talked about. We have the community health fairs with Kamari Ted, he did this last summer. A lot of programs, but what we also see here is about how to apply for the students, all right? So you really need to go on there and apply. The deadlines for application are March 23rd, and that is really going to be important for you to get into the program as we recruit our next class of students. And so now we're joined by parents. We have two parents with us today, and they are proud parents. And I know that we've had opportunities. Do you want to move in closer? Thank you, so we can see you on the screen. Okay. We've talked a little bit about proud parents. It's kind of come up over some of the shows, but we really haven't had the privilege of having parents with us on this, and I'm so glad that I get to do this. We had the fantastic Mentee who was just in the house, and so we have two proud parents with us, which is parents raising our upcoming doctors. I mean, it couldn't be a better play of words, which is a very powerful thing. And we have Mr. Robinson and Ms. Pirtle, who are parents of our mentees in the program, and we're glad to have you here today. And I would
thank you.
Really like you to introduce yourselves, all right? So a little bit about who you are, who your kids are, and how you got involved in the program.
Well, I'm Darius Robinson. My daughter is Alana Young, and I've been a proud parent in the program for 2 years. Actually, looks like it's going on 3 because it's another gala coming up, yes. So that's how I count
3 galas.
And so I kind of got in the program because she was in the program, and then I was just kind of asked to come and check things out. I liked what I saw, and I liked what the objective was. So I just kind of started volunteering my time and just rolling with Dr. Conway's vision of trying to resurrect children to become doctors in the medical field.
Thank you so much. And we'll talk a little bit more about the details of what that means to volunteer, what the mission is, and what really keyed in with you. So, Ms. Pirtle?
Yes, I learned of the I Am Abel program when Dr. Sweetie accompanied her husband to my church. I was a pastor, and she gave a brief little synopsis near the end of our service about the I Am Abel program. My daughter has talked about being in medicine for quite some time, and so her name is Jalen, and so I said, okay, let's check it out and let's see what's going on. So we've been in it for about a year.
Okay.
We went to the gala for the first time last year, and it was a phenomenal pinning program for the children. I mean, she was so proud. We even have the picture of her pinning on our mantle. Right. And she just loves it. She's enjoying herself. She's learning so much. And one of Dr. Sweetie's statements, if you can see one, you can be one. That resonates with me on so many levels, because even though she liked the idea of medicine, being able to participate in the activities, the history-taking process, and all of that has really made her see herself in that role. And so we're very excited.
And I know you were watching before you came on and saw how Kamari just talked about his mentor and the things he did both in the program with patients, but also outside of program as a man talking to another man and keeping them going. So you brought up those points around, what the vision is, what the mission is, and also seeing one to be one. And so we have a parent who is on their 3rd gala and a newer parent, and both of you hearing about it through different mechanisms, and both for the students and for the parents. So this proud thing, people are going to call in and say, well, what does that mean? So we know about the mentees and the mentor. What are your roles? What do you do? What are the expectations, and how do you fit into the bigger I Am Able picture? Because parents are key.
Well, what I see the role is being there for a couple years now, is that what I try to do is try to engage myself and incite other parents to, to implement Dr. Conway's vision. And, and that also means, you're going to, on your weekends, you're going to spend some time doing that. And if you want anything to be operational or to be very functional, you're going to have to put some time to it. And so this is some time that you see that's going to benefit the greater good. Because personally, I would like to go in the future. When I go to see a physician, I want to see a physician that looks like me, And we have right now, in terms of statistics, we don't have that many that look like us, and we're falling short. So, with Dr. Conway's vision, starting our children at a very age to start focusing on the medical field, that's something that's very important. And that's kind of important to me because I help, I volunteer, I assist. So for me, this is like a way of giving back to the community as well.
It's personal. It's personal, both personal and also for the greater good. You brought up points. I know they had a show talking about, men and, minorities in medicine, and the statistics are there. And really, this program is looking to raise those next set of healthcare ambassadors, right?
Yes.
Not just seeing the patient as a number, but encompassing the whole picture, and being a parent and instilling those values really early on is so important.
Absolutely.
There's only so many Saturday mornings, right? They live with you. Your values and your things are what they embrace, and your commitment. So you talked about time. Our other mentee talked about that is the biggest thing he can do to appreciate his mentor, showing up on time, being engaged, right?
Yes.
So Ms. Pirtle?
Well, and I think also seeing me as her mother involved,
Yes.
it sends a message to her that we value this. If I support the activities at her high school and I'm showing up to volunteer for various things, then even the more for something like this that I know she's passionate about. And one thing I will add is I think it's really important because it lit a fire under my daughter and some of her friends that are in the program. She, at her high school, was so moved by this program to start a future doctors program. She sought out a teacher who was able to support them and help them get this process as a student organization. And now at her high school, they have about 15 students that are a part of this medical scholars program. So it's really interesting how many students want to be doctors, and if you give them an opportunity to talk about it and share their ideas, they'll step out there. And I just did the career fair at her school last week, and we probably saw over 100 kids who are interested in medicine.
That is phenomenal.
It is.
That is phenomenal. And I'm just, I think we saw each other at the gala, but there was so much going on. I mean, this is not scripted, but you guys touched on every point, the points we're talking about, the involvement of parents. And we know this, even not just for this program, but when they're in elementary school and in high school, that it really is important, right? To be there, to be present. And the educators respond that. When the educators see that the parents are involved, there's a certain level of expectation for your students that is there because they know you're there.
Yes.
And it's really very important. So, some people come and may say, well, I have quite a few kids. How does this work? Do I have to be there every Saturday? Do I have to volunteer at everything? How do the proud parents make it work?
Well, you don't have to be there every Saturday. Right now we're meeting like on the third Saturday, but that gives you enough time to plan whatever other things that you have to plan to be there on the third Saturday. A lot of information is covered on the third Saturday. So it's very imperative that, you get the parents get the kids there on Saturday. And this is another thing, with the kids, what's great about this is that on the third Saturday, you have kids that are interested in being physicians in the medical field. So, everyone is striving to do the same thing. So, because you get some situations where I've tutored kids in math when I was going to school for engineering, where some of these kids, they don't want to show how smart they are, or they get intimidated by showing how smart they are. But now you are in an environment where everyone...
It's okay to be smart.
It's okay to be smart. It's okay to show how brilliant you are. So, that's the environment that the I Am Abel program brings on the third Saturday.
Yes. And even when I'm not able to be there, we are able to still get my daughter there. because we're just that committed.
Correct.
You know, I can be out of town on business, and she still will be there. She wants to go. We figure it out.
And I've seen at some times where you see parents carpooling and picking up some other kids and bringing them there because it's a community.
Yes.
So do you have like organized meetings? You have every third Saturday. Do you have like bylaws? Do you have a president or is it just an organization that is synergistic and people just make it work because everyone's in? Because people would want to know kind of what their commitments are and how loose or tight it is.
Well, the Proud Parents, we are bureaucratic, so we do have a president, we do have certain ranks, we do have that. So we do have, we do have professional meetings, and we do discuss the logistics and things of that nature to keep the program running and to assist the children. So it's one of the things I would say is it's more than just dropping your kids off. As a parent, if I was not involved in the program, which I am, but if I was not, I'd be asking, can you give me a task? What can I do?
Correct.
And once the organization gives you a task, then you'll feel more a part of the organization.
I agree. I mean, I think having teeth in always helps. You talked about lighting a fire, talked about being engaged. We talked about even with Kamari, how do you give back to your mentor by being on time and respectful of his time? Because it's always bi-directional, the relationships. And when you're engaged, I feel like you're part of driving that mission and vision. So it's not like Dr. Conway and the board working with your kids. You are part of the agenda and how this happens,
That's
right?
true, yes.
And are there any things you do around fundraising or helping around at events when the gala and things like that? Do some of your parents?
We volunteer for everything. So for the gala that's coming up, we actually volunteer and we support that. When we purchase ads or sell ads for our gala, when we have our new students that are interested in the program come together, and we as parents volunteer to help provide support for Dr. Sweetie with that. So we're involved in a number of different ways. And then we do fun things. We do community service events. We do projects where we go out and do things in the community. We volunteer our time. One of the things that I think is a big component of the program is service.
Yes.
And teaching these young people that your career in medicine is not about making a lot of money, but seeing yourself as a healer who can go out into the community and be of service to other people. And that, I think, is more important than just going to med school.
I totally agree. And we had Dr. Joy Ilion here last week. I interviewed her just talking about the importance of service, home and abroad. So there's the fancy trips, there's international trips as part of the organization. You can go to Haiti, you can go to Cuba, but also talking about service at home.
Yes.
So Kamari talked about the health fair, the things we can do, and instilling that sense of service and purpose into the kids at a young age, not like, okay, it's time for med school application. Where can we get 2 weeks in? Because medical schools are looking for that too. They're looking for people who have a heart for the community, not just a checklist for their MCAT and their scores. And so if someone's been doing this and it's part of their life and they see their parents doing it and giving back, then when it's time to fill out the med school applications, it's like, okay, I'm way over the hours. I'll put my top, 20 hours because everything else is all taken care of. And that's really important because that's that whole compassionate person we're trying to get into. So we have a few more minutes, but one of the things I'd like to, before we have you give advice to parents who are coming on board in the next class is, how do you see how this program has influenced or impacted your children? You already talked about it very briefly, starting organizations at their school, but if you could, in a short time, talk about how being a part of the program for a year or 3 years has impacted your daughters.
I would say in terms of networking, things of that nature, I believe she has, she wasn't a quiet person to begin with, but, in terms of networking, she understands that when you're networking, you're going to be doing this for the rest of your life.
Yes.
So you're always going to have to network on the job. And so this just gives her that opportunity to be able to see that full circle.
Great. And Ms. Purtle?
And I think with my daughter, I think she understands that this career path is something that she has a desire to do that's innate for her, and that she can accomplish this goal. That and many of her friends like her can do the same thing. It's given her a sense of pride in herself and seeing, I mean, she's just doing so much better in so many other areas.
Areas.
She's more outspoken than she has been. I'm the big mouth in the house, but she tends to be more shy, and she's much more outspoken. She's more forward,
Yes.
and just not aggressive, but moving forward in a real positive way. It's just giving her a level of confidence that she didn't have before.
It's been amazing having both of you here. It was easy. We could talk for another 30 minutes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
You brought up the key points. I didn't even have to but again, for the parents watching, this is exciting. These are proud parents in the program. You've heard about what they can do and how they're involved with their kids in the program. Again, for those who are still on the fence, March 23rd, this Saturday is the last day to apply. Go on the website www.iamabel.org to apply. And parents, meet the proud parents. So we're excited to have you on board, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
It's
you.
been a pleasure.
Thank you.